Breaking news, an upset in Iowa. Ted Cruz topped Donald Trump in votes after a record turnout for the Republican caucus. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson. We want to get right to those results. Marcia Kramer is in now with the latest. And Marcia, that could be just one of two upsets tonight.
That's absolutely true. After months of mountains of polls, tonight marks the first measure of the candidates, and the surprise of many, Donald Trump was not the top vote getter in the GOP. Checking the numbers on the Republican side, Ted Cruz pulled off a small upset, winning with 28% of the vote. Trump takes second with 24%, but Marco Rubio was just 1 point behind him. Looking at the Democrats, the race is still too close to call, with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders neck and neck. Now listen to this, with 89% of the vote in, just 0.3% separate the two. It could be a long night.
We're in trouble, but we're going to turn it around. We're going to make America great again. And thank you all.
Donald Trump talking at a caucus site in Iowa where voters deeply frustrated with Washington policies on both the economy and foreign policy turned out in droves. It was the first test of whether the brash billionaire, the reality TV star, could convert his fan base into a voter base. And while he finished in the money, Texas Senator Ted Cruz's support from conservatives and evangelicals appeared to give him the edge. There were 12 Republican candidates vying for support in Iowa, but Iowa turned into a three-way fight between Cruz, Trump, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Ben Carson a distant fourth.
I'm just honored. I'm really honored. And we're just so happy with the way everything worked out. And tomorrow afternoon we'll be in New Hampshire.
Iowa is of primary importance only because it's the first nominating contest. The Democrats duking it out for just 44 delegates, less than 1% nationwide. And the Republicans battling for 30 delegates when there are almost 2,500 across the country. It's also important because it begins the weeding out process, pressuring the less popular performers to get something going or else. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, a Democrat, dropped out tonight. So did Republican Mike Huckabee. Others will follow. On the Democratic side in Iowa, Hillary Clinton battling so-called Democratic socialist Bernie Sanders, seeking vindication and a comeback from her 2008 loss to Barack Obama.
Now, I know you want to ask me how good Iowa voters are at picking their party's nominee. Well, you might want to ask Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, Bill Clinton, Mitt Romney, and John McCain. They all lost in Iowa but won the nomination. Now, since 1972, Iowa Democrats are right 43% of the time. Iowa Republicans were right just 50% of the time. So, Christine, it's going to be a long contest.
It really will be. Thank you, Marcia.